Hey guys, hey. Good morning, and happy Valentine's Day to you. Listen, thank you for watching TCP in the morning. We got a fantabulous show lined up for you today. Not to mention, we've been talking about this new district judge proposal that's being submitted to the state Supreme Court. And we have one of the judges who is directly impacted by this proposal, and he's going to be calling in today to share what his solution on the matter was. And not only that, we're going to be talking about firefighters crossing the line and making fun of a child who was murdered by the police. Not just that, but so much more coming up for your Melanated News, brought to you by TCP in the morning, live from Central Pennsylvania. Go on ahead and share the stream.
It's TCP in the morning.
Good morning, y'all.
Wake up.
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 Wake up, y'all.
Wake up.
Wake up. It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning. Let's go.
It's TCP in the morning.
TCP in the morning.
It's 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 TCP in the morning. It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning. You don't want to miss this.
Wake up. It's TCP in the morning. Woo!
All right. Okay. Here we go.
Hey, we back on? Is this thing on?
All right.
Well.
Let's go to the
Welcome to the show!
Ladies and gentlemen, wake your ass up, brush your teeth, brush your ass. Your morning team is back again. We tried, and now we're back again. Technology, what can we say? Good morning to you. Let's start this thing over like it was 8 o'clock. We're 23 minutes in, but that's all right.
Can we blame it on the retrograde?
It is still the top of the show. Folks, good morning to you. Like we said, brush all your extremities. We hope that you are having a wonderful beginning to your Thanksgiving. Sarge, what's going on, man?
What up? How y'all doing? Happy Valentine's Day, beautiful people. If you didn't make your reservations or you don't have no plans yet, you better get on it. You better quick get it done before the end of the night. All right, that's all I'm saying. All right, and with that being said, how about that Super Bowl? Oh, it was a great weekend. Cooked some wings, I made some cheese, shrimp stuff, scallop stuff. It was a good time. All right, I'm glad you guys are all here. Welcome to the show.
Yes.
Hey, y'all in tune for a good one. Let's go.
Yes, Lady L, what up?
Hey guys, good morning. Thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in. Hey, listen up, I got our Black Formation affirmation for today, brought to you by one of our band books. And not just that, but like I said before, we got a fantabulous show for you. I hope you enjoyed your weekend. I don't know what you had planned for Valentine's Day, but hey, I want you to know that I love you. And in that love, I want you to share the stream. And not only that, but how was everybody's weekend? Did you make it to the final push of the Lancaster Health Equity Music Festival? I didn't make it. So please chime on into the comments. Let me know how it was for you. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Happy Monday. Oh, and also shouts out to our people who won tickets last week for the Charlotte Blake Austin Oral Tradition Show at the Ware Center. We got more tickets given away this week. So make sure that you stay tuned, that you share the stream. In today's tickets, we're giving away Red Rose Thunder tickets. All you got to do is call in with 3 Spike League joints. So yeah, happy Black History Month. Over to the desk.
Folks, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. My name is Marquise Lupton, also known as DJ Quiet Storm.
DJ Quiet Storm.
One of 3 hosts, one of 4 personalities on this thing that we call TCP in the morning, the best thing that you can have in your cup. Good morning to you. Don't be rude to us.
Say it back.
And share the stream. Friends do not let friends. TCP alone, and make sure that you are not keeping this candle to yourself, and make sure that you pass it along. Be like, hey girl, hey guy, you want to be in the know? Check this out. In the inboxes and on Yo Radio. Folks, like we said, we have a jam-packed show for you today. But before we get to that, DJ Double O, what up, cuz?
I don't have the energy that I had when we first started the show. I'm just kidding, man. Always glad to be here. I'm looking at people in the comments. I'm about to call out. Who am I calling out?
I'm calling out Shannon. Shannon didn't say good morning.
Ashley quickly again.
No,
I got, who
yeah.
else?
Irma.
David, say hello.
Corinne.
Stop being weird.
Oh, don't make it weird.
Don't make it where you old looky Lou.
Did we sleep together last night?
I hope everybody's doing well. Let's get these people the news, man.
Yes, indeed. To the folks that have said good morning. Lisa, good morning again to you. Taekwon, good morning. Neville, good morning to you. Candace says, what's up, TCP family? It was so nice seeing you guys Friday. Wish you were there, Lady L. It was a blast. Shout out to our black lady doctors. They held it down, did the damn thing. Indeed. Nyla, good morning to you. Helena says, good morning and happy Valentine's Day to you all. Shane says, good morning. Roger, what is going on? Top of the morning to you. And Ashley, good morning to you as well. Shannon, there she goes. Good morning to you folks. All smiles. She says, good morning to you. What's up, Saul?
I'm going to call Coach Jeffrey Dawkins, calling out Coach Dawkins. And I'm going to call my brother Brian all the way up in Norway. You guys are watching. You might as well say good morning. I'm just saying. I can see you watching. I see you. See you.
William, good morning to you. Rebecca, she says, good morning and thanks again for Friday night. Yes, it was a blast. Had a great time. But now we are looking to rest. What the elders say, we are looking to recharge and rest. This week will be our last week for February. We are taking next week off because, folks, we are transitioning.
Yes.
We are transitioning. What you see right here, right now, this is our TCP studio that is currently located on Columbia Avenue. We have a new location. Hey, I like saying that. We have a new location, a standalone building on Lafayette Street. That will be the new location of the TCP studio. So we are, like I said, going to be transitioning and moving into that space all next week so that we can continue to bring everything that you need, everything that you want, and so much more. Moving into the standalone building allows us to do so much more, not just broadcast, but also connect with the local community and expand on things that we have already started, like our after-school program with La Academia Charter School. So, folks, we are locked in. We are happy. We are ultimately blessed that we're able to do this thing called TCP, especially in the morning. Like I said, we have a jam-packed show for you. The judge situationship currently it's unfolding in Lancaster. We are just days away from when stuff closes up. So we're going to give you some more information on that. Cedar Crest versus McCaskey and its history of racism. You know, and it just wasn't at McCaskey. Same thing happened at a Lancaster Catholic game as well. So we're going to peel back those details. And also, a PA fire company is suspended after they make fun of an 8-year-old that was killed. So, folks, you know how we do. You know what we do. We give you the news. Give you the news that you need. Give you the news that you want. Give you the news that you did not even know existed. Let's give it to them, y'all.
Well,
yes.
about that time.
Hey. There it is. Don't forget to call up.
Come on now.
For your tickets. Call up.
Yes, call up. Spike Lee Joints. Win your tickets, hey?
Time to get the people, yeah. Get the people what they want. And that's the news.
with a shimmy.
Thanks for stopping by. Our first story for today, folks. We are delving into the judge situationship here in Lancaster. So just to catch you all up from the details of last week, when it comes to the district judges and their caseload in the city, we discussed this last week. In the city, a lot of the judges, their caseloads are 2, sometimes 3 more than out in the county. So what they want done, what would make sense, right, is to add another district judge. We have a call already. I love it. Who is it? Caller, good morning. Hello, caller, good morning. Hey, what is going on? Good morning. Oh, so you calling for the basketball game tickets?
Of course I am.
Oh, all right. Well,
listen, hold on, because she won the last tickets. How was the show?
That show was so good.
Oh.
My daughter was still talking about it this morning.
That's dope.
Wonderful. So look. If you can name 3 Spike Lee joints, we'll give you 2 tickets. However, if you can name 5 Spike Lee joints, we'll give you a family pack of 4 tickets.
Okay, I only had 3. Let me think.
No pressure.
No Girl 6 is one of those.
Okay. All right.
That's a funny movie. He Got Game.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Inside Man. That's the one with Denzel.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Do you want to try to go for 2 more, or do you want to take your 3?
If I remember correctly, didn't he do the Kings of Comedy?
I think he did. Let
is
me
that a
double
Spike Lee
check.
joint?
Let me go.
We are confirming right now.
I know he did the Malcolm X.
Oh well, yeah.
It was Spike Lee.
Oh, all right. Well then,
All
there you
right,
go.
you got it.
There you go. All right. Well then, thank you for calling up. We will contact you and have information for you, and we will set these 4 tickets aside for you. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Valentine's Day.
Yes. Woo, woo, woo.
Look
Yes.
at that. There we go. I love it. I love that. So shout out to Nyla. You won 4 tickets. You know what? I'm feeling generous.
9:30.
I'm feeling generous.
9:30 next time. Next
Yo.
giveaway.
Yeah, we'll do it in an hour. 9:30. We're going to give away 2 more tickets. I don't know what the challenge is yet. But
I'm gonna say.
go ahead, Lady L.
Give us 2 films with Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Look, Lady L got all the ideas.
There it is. All
Black
right, so,
History Month.
Yeah. So folks, back to the news. So the situation with the judges, the caseloads are a lot bigger in the city than they are in the county, and in the city, those judges are sometimes have 2, maybe 3 times the amount of the caseloads of the judges in the county. Now, the Supreme Court said, hey, look, you have to do something about this, especially since there are 2 judges that are coming up on retirement age. In this next election cycle, there are 2 judges coming up on retirement age. So now would be the right time to kind of make this reconfiguration. Instead of what the president judge is trying to do, is trying to have those judges with the smaller caseloads, trying to have them preside over cases in the city. Now, we know in this political climate, when it comes to political differences and everything like that, how detrimental that could be to a specific group. We also know that the county has this preconceived notion of people from the city. Also, add on this: if you are somebody that's used to working 2-3 hours a day, and then the next couple hours you spend out in a golf course and you've been doing this for, 12 years, 15 years, and then somebody says, all right, now you're going to have to go into the city and preside over these cases, no more free time. Would you then be more, would you be more nice? Would you be more mean? That's just watering it down a little bit, folks. But we have a call to action. We have a email up on our page right now that explains it more. What needs to happen, folks, and this is where you come in. This is where the call to action comes in. This is where you need to send out your email to, we're going to put it in the comment section. You need to contact the folks of the Supreme Court and tell them as a city resident, you want to add another district court. You want to add another district court in the city because that just makes sense. To ease those caseloads instead of having outside judges come in, which could exacerbate certain issues, especially with this proposed prison being proposed to be built. We have to act on things now. Again, we're going to get the email for you so that you can send the email out and have your voice be heard. Sarge and I had a conversation with some city officials yesterday, and this is an issue that needs to be taken care of right now because time is of the essence. We have 48 hours before they attempt to make any kind of decision. Sorry.
Yes, and in doing so, you got to be aware. You got to let other people know. Okay, this is where your voice really matters. Okay, so taking the right steps to get it done it takes more than one person.
Right.
It's going to take the whole village to speak up about this and come to correct this problem. If we are going to have judges come from outside the city, we need to make sure that they are vetted well to ensure that that it's going to be equal across the board.
Right.
All right. And there are judges that are concerned about it. They are concerned about it. And instead of doing that, their concern matters, and listening to their opinion matters. Because if we all have an opinion and we can come to the right understanding or even have a vote, you know what I mean? If we can do anything to make it where everybody can be involved in this process, the more people involved in the process, the better, I feel like sometimes.
Right. So to let you know, the statement, President Judge David Ashworth has proposed that for Lancaster City, in order to make judicial hearings more equitable, he has proposed to the state Supreme Court that county judges come into the city of Lancaster to hear and try these cases. So, folks, please email the Supreme Court today and tell them no, you do not support President Judge David Ashworth's plan for county judges to come into the city to hear cases. Let him know we want to vote for a new district judge for our community. And now we have until February 16th to write a letter or email. We will have that information for you in the comment section momentarily. Let's take it to Lady Al. Lady Al.
Yep. We just put that down in the comment section for you, the court admin at co.lancaster.pa.us. Yes, that is exactly where you're going to email your attachments, or if you decide to put it in the body of the email, you can do it there as well. But that's what it is. And it's crazy. So I've had a chance to kind of look over this proposal and kind of see what's in it and everything like that. And again, if the judges who are in town, whom you are saying have too many caseloads, and they say, hey, well, I don't want the county judges coming into my jurisdiction hearing my cases, right? You see what I'm saying? Like, if they're saying, I don't think that's a good idea. And we're not even going to just talk about political party lines. We're not going to talk about how all of the county judges, I believe, are registered as Republicans. We're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about just the fact that the judges who are in town are saying, hey, they came up with their own solutions for the problem that they are facing. And they said, hey, let our residents pick another judge. And as we went out here and we started taking it to the streets and we started talking to people, I do want to give a special shout out to Jess, who has been out here screaming since George Floyd, and then turned around and started screaming about these judges. So shouts out to her. Listen, I love how you guys actually take it to heart when we say get active and get involved, because she turned around and went to a city council meeting and asked them what were their plans for this. What were they doing about this?
They didn't even know about it.
What you say there, boss?
They didn't even know about it.
They didn't even know about it. They weren't even aware.
Tune in to TCP in the morning.
Clearly, nobody on city council had any idea that this was up. And here's the thing. So this actually came about because of the census. We have so many people living in the city of Lancaster and everything like that. It actually does allow for some kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. And we have the opportunity here to add another district judge, somebody that we can vote in, somebody who has to win our support and appreciation in our community for such a position. And I'm hoping that we will continue to send emails to the court administrators and letting them know that we do not support President Judge Ashworth's proposal to bring in county judges to hear and try these cases. We are asking that he allows us to vote in a new district judge. This is disheartening. I'd be scared to death to get pulled over in the county, let alone having to think that I'm gonna go see Judge Jody for my parking ticket and show up and it's some random old
Judge Trump.
Yeah, like
yeah.
What do you think you're doing here?
Right.
You know, so folks, again, there needs to be this call to action. There needs to the Supreme Court needs to hear from the community, because what we don't want to happen is the Supreme Court says, okay, well, we didn't hear anything back from the community. We didn't hear, or Judge Ashworth says, well, you know what? There wasn't a big clamor against this, so they're clearly for this. Let your voice be heard, because the last thing we want to do with this is have a reaction. Like, let's be proactive about this and not reactive about this, and let's not look back, 6 months from now saying, oh man, I could have. Here's your chance to avoid all of that. So, once again,
my thing is, all right, there was a study done way back in like 2020, and where they talked about the differences, like the Dauphin County Magistrate District Judge and his colleagues across the state earn like $93,338 a year, with the possibility of a pension and lifetime health care funded largely by taxpayers. All right, but when it went to look at the numbers of how much time judges were actually spending in the office, it come to find out that in Allegheny County, Judge Anthony Savelkas had 96 days without any proceedings. He listed 3 other jobs on his financial disclosure form.
Man.
All right, so look, these judges are, what are they doing? What are they doing with this time? I understand. They analyzed the calendars of 466 district judges for 2019 after eliminating judges in Luzerne County and Pittsburgh for whom they could not obtain reliable data, at 23 offices that were vacant for some portion of the year. 10% of the judges had at least 60 days without court appearances above and beyond holidays, weekends, and training days. So by comparison, the average full-time American worker had 19 days of paid vacation and sick time. And that's just according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. All right, so this has been a problem going on for a while now.
Yeah,
All right.
There's been a report that one of the judges said, I can't do this. I pick my daughter up every day at 2:30. This is what one of the judges said. I can't do this. I got to pick one of my daughters up at 2:30. Now imagine this person can't pick his daughter up now, having an attitude. You know what? Guilty. Let's
I got to be out of here by 2:30.
Yes.
And then what?
Right.
And so this is a problem, and so other judges, people aren't speaking out because they fear the reprimand that it's going to have on them.
Yes.
And that's bullying in itself.
Yes, yes, it is.
That's no difference than saying, well, I don't know, it's just holding something above somebody's head. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're holding their job. You're blacklisting them. You're going to keep them out from even ever achieving what they want to because they're speaking out against something that's wrong.
Like cops speaking out against police brutality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in this study, there were like over 40 people interviewed, and none of them wanted to give their name or like none of them count. Like there were nearly 40 district judges, attorneys, county clerks, academics, and other sources that were interviewed for this story, but many declined to speak off the record. They didn't want to speak on the record. So.
Folks, again, we put in the comment section either email or send in a physical letter. Just to let you know, do not call. Any oral responses will not be accepted. All right, now is the time. Send those emails out. One thing that we used to say on Hip Hop and Politics is get active, get involved. You know, this takes nothing. This takes nothing for you to copy and paste this email, send it out, and say, I'm against it. I want to have a new district court in Lancaster City.
You're going to be on your phone anyway.
Right.
Do something useful with it.
Absolutely. Because, again, we don't want to have a reaction to this, but we want to be proactive.
And so I want to, before we did that, I actually just wanted to share with you all just a little bit about the new president, Judge Ashworth. So he got his undergraduate from Gettysburg College and his law degree from Widener. And before joining the court, he was a trial lawyer for 20 years. And on the Court of Common Pleas, he earns about $174,000 a year. And so I'm just, so he's a judge of Lancaster County Court of Common Pleas. Ashworth was elected to the court in 1999. And then he retained it in 2009 to the term that expires in 2019. And now he has a new position as president judge. It's weird. I'm still trying to wrap my head around retiring and then coming back.
How much are we paying these judges to work 4 hours?
That's a lot of money to work a couple hours. Yeah. I need that kind of job.
Yeah. So folks, again, get active, get involved, send those emails out. Any kind of oral response will not be documented. So these things have to be documented. Contact the Supreme Court. Let your voice be heard. Let's not have stuff done to us. Let's make our own stuff happen. So let's get to our next story. This is a convoluted morning.
Man, do we have a video for this one at all?
This is
all right.
This is a convoluted morning.
Listen, so recently there was an incident at the Cedar Crest McCaskey game where what sounded like the N-word was directed at McCaskey's boys basketball player. They said it was actually a reference to a former NBA player. For years and years now, if you grew up playing in a city, if you grew up playing for a city school, if you're in a city school, you're black, brown, you went to any other school outside the city, you dealt with racism. You heard it. Like whether it was chants, and it always would get to me is how the adults in the building, the adult teachers in the building, they wouldn't do anything. You would allow a student section to chant such things. This isn't an isolated incident because it's continuing to happen across the United States, and it's been happening since the beginning. All right, so a day after a video surfaced that appeared to show a racial slur being hurled at McCaskey boys basketball players during a game at Cedar Crest Monday, the whole school says that isn't what happened at all. In a statement given to the Lebanon Daily News for a piece entitled "The Cedar Crest Racial Incident That Wasn't," the school said that what may have sounded like the N-word was actually a group of students calling the player Von Maker because they believed he looked like him. Oh, you basketball players out there, so
all black athletes look alike now.
Yeah, Von Maker is a former NBA player who last appeared in 8 games during the 2021 season for the Cleveland Cavaliers. He is 7 foot tall with a very short haircut. No, we do not have anybody on our team who looks like that, McCaskey athletic director John Mitchell said.
Right.
The player they told us they were talking about is 6'2" or 6'3". We're just not really a big team. He has hair. He's a kid. Mitchell said of the player he was told the attention was directed at, but he is short. The attempts to reach Cedar Crest athletic director Rick Dissinger Friday were not successful. The one thing I would encourage you to look into is whether the N-word is the only racist comment, Mitchell said, and whether the one student being compared to someone just based off the color of his skin is appropriate. Perhaps we need to look at what we're cheering at games, he added. And I'm not sure why anyone would be yelling at our players. I'll let other people be the judge of whether or not making comparison to someone solely on the basis of their skin color is the right thing to do. Bissinger told Penn Live, he said, my reaction is disgust after the video surfaced on social media Thursday. So the video, he was disgusted, but then he said, oh, it wasn't a racial tone. It was thon maker. All right, so obviously this is never acceptable and never appropriate, he said. I wish someone had told us in that moment so we would have handled it in that moment. If you can hear it being chanted, what are you doing?
Right.
All right, you're watching the student section, aren't you?
Right.
All right, so Jeremy Blevins published a video on his Twitter account. He said, it isn't an isolated incident that racial slurs have been yelled during athletic competitions at Cedar Crest. Several of his followers, as well as his account that saw his post, agreed with him. Blevins said the video was recorded by the mother of a McCaskey player who was a friend of his. He said he published a video to help find the person who yelled the N-word. And Thursday, Cedar Crest Athletics also issued a social media statement saying that it was aware of an incident in which a spectator issued a racial slur toward an athlete at the McCaskey game. At no time is this behavior acceptable at Cedar Crest, and we are investigating the incident. 24 hours later, the school told the Lebanon Daily News, none of the students and spectators in attendance heard a racial slur being said. Students did acknowledge, however, that they were calling one of the McCaskey students' athletes thon maker. What group of teachers sat around?
This is what they do. This is how white supremacy, this is how it works, right? Because now the institution, all the teachers, all the adults that were supposed to be monitoring these kids are saying what? That's not what they were saying. They were saying thon maker. And they're rationalized, like, let's say they were saying that. Is that not racist in itself to then say, oh, well, you got black players, they're thon maker? Like, why not call them Michael Jordans? Why not call them LeBron Jameses? That's not what you were doing. So let's be real. Let's be real and talk about it and how these adults are protecting and encouraging that kind of behavior. How do you then say it was nobody on our side when there's a video? I hope we got it, but I can't believe this. Y'all been here longer than I have. Come on, tell us more, Sarge.
Listen, we've been dealing. I grew up playing for McCaskey, so like playing for McCaskey, you dealt with it. Like you got it. Like you heard it. I remember it would have been my sophomore year, junior year maybe. We played Penn Manor for our homecoming game, and as we were out shaking hands, the one coach called one of our players. He called our star running back. He called him a nigger. Mm. Our star running back responded in kind and punched him in the face. But when you say that to a teenage boy, what do you expect?
Right.
You know, like how do you expect? And like he wasn't allowed to play the next game, but like thinking about it now, how do you expect a teenage boy
to react? Yeah,
to react to a grown man calling you this, like while you're shaking hands after a hard-fought game.
Right. Who's protecting?
Like you don't look at me as like you don't see me as equal to your players. Like you're calling me this.
Right.
You know, it's oh man, in the bottom of football, in the bottom of piles. You know, one of our watchers, Race Around. He's been called Spig. Mm-hmm. Every name in the book. When you're down the bottom of the pile, you know, like, and it's no different on the basketball court. You know, hearing the chants.
Starts with the parents.
Yeah, and in the wrestling, you know, even with wrestling, you know, when you go out to different meets, you know, you have teams that look at you differently. Yeah. You know, whether you're a girl, whether you're a different color, you know, and it's wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, so like I with this story, like I've reached out to some people. You know, I reached out to a wrestling coach, my Army buddy. Sergeant Dent, you know, he's up in the coal region, up in the mountains, you know, up in that Pennsylvania region. You know, so I asked him, like, what is his reaction when it comes to dealing with these kids, you know, and what he told me was, I'm actually gonna read it. I want to read what he wrote to me because I don't want to mess it up, you know. But he said he looks in there and he'll get down and he'll look them in the eyes when if he notices. Like his wrestler is making fun of a girl wrestler or anyone who's different at a tournament. He says he'll grab them by the shoulders, get down onto their level, and look them into their eyes and ask them to describe what they see. And he says, and when they shut down, I have nothing to really say. He says, I see someone who's more braver than you and I. He said, you don't think they realize they don't look like you. They have worked just as hard in the mat room and forfeited meals or fun time just to be there. And you owe them the freaking respect to go out there and shake their hand because, yeah. And like he goes on to say all these things, and oh man, it's that's the way you have to talk to kids. You have to like show them they're wrong by letting them do it, and just punishing them, but not telling them why they're wrong or explaining to them why they're wrong. There's no lesson really learned. All right, so like we cannot allow this. Like for schools that allow this type of behavior, they need to be punished. You know what? Hey, you can't play in the league this year. You guys are suspended from league play. You guys can't go to the playoffs. If you start slapping these schools with sanctions, as we want to call it, you start hitting these schools with these things. These schools they're gonna control the way their students what they're saying.
But right now they're not. I mean they've been not forced to like as high school students, we knew that certain schools, once we go into that school, once we go into that area, like we're going to hear different levels of racism. I remember playing ball for Lancaster Catholic. Like we were in Section 3, so like we were playing some more obscure schools and everything like that, like Octorara. Like there would be plenty of times that I would be the only black person in the whole stadium. Like everybody, and the coaches would tell me, this is what they would tell me. Lupton, we're going into an area where they're going to be spewing some, obscenities, some unpleasantries. It's up to you as a basketball player to realize those are just words. Get past it.
And not to the adults to realize this is just a game.
Hey,
Come on, man.
No, this is just me. This is my skin color.
Right,
This is who I am.
I'm so tired of that narrative
Right.
of us having to always be the toughest person,
Right.
always turn the other cheek. Like, what happens when we stop and we start carrying guns and responding to racism with violence, right? What happens?
14.
Because in Lancaster,
Get Malcolm X.
in Lancaster County, this is not news. This is not new. This is not uncommon. Right. This is a very common occurrence, happens every year to dozens of black and brown kids traveling to these obscure communities.
Yeah.
But hold on. I want to correlate this to our first story about the judges. I want you to know that the judges are coming from those same communities.
Yeah.
These judges that are watching the basketball game.
Yeah. I've sat next to people during and this is how just insane just some of these people are. I've sat next to some people that I've called friends, during football games, during Lancaster Catholic football games, and when a black person on the other team makes a good play, they're like, "Oh, that effing N-word," and it's like, "Yo, what?" It's like, "Oh, Keys, you know me. I'm just in the moment right now." And
Not
it's
in
like,
the moment. Like you don't
and
get
it's like,
in the moment.
so when you're in the moment, you all of a sudden become racist.
My racist.
So then I think about that. I think about the coaches that are like, oh, they're going to be spewing some unpleasantries. It's like, no, there's a racism issue that y'all are
Okay with.
Yes, okay with it because they're not putting the onus on the parents. And this is just that continued. Like there shouldn't be that conversation to a bunch of kids. Hey, you know where we're going. They're going to be saying this. Toughen up. No, you need to switch that around. And if any unpleasantries are spewed, get them out of there. Have a fine. Ban them for the rest of the season. Like that is like you're saying this to kids.
We should start walking out. Because everybody's here to watch this game. Mm-hmm. Y'all want to be racist? Y'all can't watch this game.
Or taking your kids out of that sport so that they don't have to deal with that. Like, I'm sorry, I can't imagine. We have daughters, and I can't imagine, Lolo going out, going to a soccer game, and she's enduring that at her soccer games. And then as the parent, I'm just like, oh, like, absolutely not.
It makes them tougher.
We are not in the night. My thing is like, segregation isn't new. We're in 2022. Segregation isn't new.
Yeah.
So with that being, like, I get it. It's new because it's less than 100 years old. All right? So I get that part, but you know what we need to do? We need to, like, set the tone. Change it now. Because you know what? I don't want my kids, I don't want my grandkids to deal with it. Like, I'm sick of it.
Right.
Like even moving out to these schools where they spew the racism, like you're saying, like when you're the only one or two black kids there. You hear it, and you hear it more than anything.
Right.
You hear it. You're a good one, though, man. You're the good one. You hear that? You know, I don't mean you. I mean, you know, the other ones. You know, what is that? What do you mean the other ones?
And it may have to be on the coaches. Like if they hear the word, stop the game.
Problem is, some of these coaches say it themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's gonna have to come on one of the responsible adults that are in the stadium, like it, and do something dramatic, like go into the center court and be like, look, I'm not moving until whoever said that is escorted out. Like drastic situations call for drastic measures, and that just may have to be something to where like because I mean it's okay, and that's what's not okay about
it's not.
What happens if we stop scheduling Cedar Crest? What happens? I'm just curious. What happens if we stop scheduling Cedar Crest? Because this isn't
that
new.
doesn't fix anything.
Pull them out the league.
That's just avoiding it.
But then, I guess you're right. But I'm saying in mass, right? Like if we can get all the other schools to be on board, and now Cedar Crest don't get to play any games in the LL League. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
but there's still garden spot.
There needs to be something though.
That's what I'm saying. The sanctions. We need the sanctions. Yeah, we need the punishments. We need things to come down for when schools do this. You know, there needs to be a league rule. Like the league has to handle it. Yeah, like you know what? We can't put it on schools because you know why? Each school's different. You know, obviously some schools believe in masks, some schools don't. You know, some schools believe in racism, some schools don't. They ban critical race theory. But you know what? The league, the Lancaster Lebanon League, you're a league compromised of schools of kids. Compromise of kids from all over. Yeah. And you need to bridge that gap. Everybody needs to be on one accord. And if they're not, they need to understand you cannot play this sport. Well, you can't do this. You can't do this in this league.
It should also fall on the refs too.
But also though, we really need to take a step back though, because we've also seen the refs have issues. We've seen refs go out there at wrestling matches and cut our babies' heads. Yep. You know, we've seen these things. So I honestly, we had some comments here. I think Corinne had a good idea. Games should be forfeited, period. If you are on the team that's yelling out the N-word, that's being racist, then your team forfeits. And the other team wins. We're not even going to play. I love that idea because we need to teach our kids that there are consequences. And in this day and age of everybody gets a trophy, you don't get a trophy for being racist here. You get to go home with your tail between your legs, feeling like a muck. And that's what we need to be showing these kids, right? So that when they are older, so that we don't have adult Karens, right? You got to get them when they're little, right? So when they are exhibiting certain behaviors and certain stereotypes and certain things, you have to address it while they're younger. Hey, that's not cool. Hey, this and that. But they're not doing that. They're just saying, oh, they're kids, or they're making excuses. Oh, they're saying thon maker. Oh, they're saying, you know, something else. That's an issue. That's an issue.
It's excusing away racism.
Some comments.
Yeah, we got a bunch of comments. Nyla says Cedar Crest is known for that. Every time children play against them, they use the hard R on and off the field. Rebecca says that's a narcissist in the power position trying to cover his arse. Indeed. Sabrina says not just a grown man, a man who is supposed to be a mentor to kids, that part. Oliver, good morning, chef. He says, America loves racism. This ain't going to stop. Unfortunately, yeah. William says, the list of our neighboring schools where this is common and acceptable is much longer than ones where it isn't. And yeah. Oliver says, Lancaster Catholic is racist too. Absolutely. William says, every year, every sport. And Ray, good morning to you, Ray. Oliver says, in the moment means I'm at my core. Yes, absolutely. Corinne says games should be forfeited, period. Mike says, I like that. If you hear it, have your team walk out. Ricardo says, good topic. Oliver says, racist people ain't going to punish racist people. That is a great point. William says, it needs to be our district administration as well to publicly call that statement from Cedar Crest BS. They can't let racist weasels out with terrible excuses. That part too. I'm waiting for a letter note from Dr. Rao.
We all recognize how weak the apology is and how disingenuous it actually is, right? All it does is say, well, they didn't say it.
Right.
According to who?
Right. Because there's video, and it's
They didn't say it. It was Thon
it's
Maker.
clear. Sharif, good morning, brother Sharif. He says, good morning, family. My friend coaches for Columbia. A few weeks ago, they were playing Lancaster Catholic, and fans were yelling the N-word during the game. I have the video. Yeah. And it be those games. Lancaster Catholic versus Columbia. Yes, those are very contentious, like
super big rivalry in the area.
Super
Absolutely.
big, and it would be nothing to be running out of the tunnel, and they're like, "Oh, you little N-word Catholic boy, we're gonna get you." And I'm looking at my coach, and my coach is like, "Go on." I'm like, yo. And I'm thinking like, all right, be tough, Marquise. Be tough. I'm out there warming up.
And that's the worst excuse, right?
Yes.
That's the worst response. Oh, be tough.
Be tough.
These people are showing their weakness.
Yo.
And I have to be tough.
Like, I'm 15 years old.
And it's crazy because, and for those of you, when we talk about critical race theory, the meme going around about Ruby Bridges and having integrated a school in the South and how they're like, it's really the people that were being racist towards her that don't want their names and figures and images put out there for their relatives to all know about. And here's the thing. That child, as a baby, she stopped eating because they were screaming how they were going to poison her food and everything like that. So I'm just saying this to say, what about the psychological implications on our children enduring that? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care what nobody says. The N-word is not a term of endearment. It's not. I don't care. At the end of the day, if you're outside of saying it amongst your friends, there's a part of you that's like, ooh, don't, right? And so it's belittling. It's diminishing. You see what I'm saying? And so it kind of tears a little part of us each time that we are called that, especially not from a friend and in a derogatory term. So what is that saying to our kids when they have to go out and play these sports games and have to hear, you're N-word, you're N-word, you're N-word? You know what I'm saying? And then that feeds certain stereotypes. Well, N-words are good at sports. I guess I'm an N-word. I'm the best sports N-word. Like, come on now. Now we're missing out on a potential another doctor, another engineer, another mechanic or whatever because they're starting to see themselves as a certain type of way. They're starting to have certain self-fulfilling prophecies of what other people have said they are. And so, no, these adults in these spaces need to stand up and step up. But if the adult and if the coach is equally as racist or as ignorant, how are they going to help the situation? And this is why we advocate for black and brown people getting certain types of jobs and being in these positions. Because you've had these white people that have had these positions for years after years after years after years, and nothing has moved. The only thing that's different is the students. And yet the situations are still the same.
Yeah.
But that principal has been there for 20 years. Those teachers have been there for 15 years. Some of those coaches have been there for a decade and a half.
And there's no reprimand. There's no reprimand at all because they are protected. When we were in high school, I believe it was the Warwick game, and the Warwick students were yelling out, "Do you know your dad?"
Ooh.
And this is constant. Like Bill said, every year, like there's an expectation. As a grown black man, I'm thinking about again my coaches. Oh well, Marquise, they're going to be yelling some unpleasantries. Like no, call it what it is. These people are racist.
They're about to be racist in public.
Right.
Like, listen, you can either fight or not come.
And as the coach, it should have been on him, being the adult and saying, no, this is not what we're doing. Or saying, hey, get him out of here. He's out of line. None of that. It was Marquise, be tough.
I mean, and to Lady L's point, when you think about the fact, like, there's an Instagram video with the basketball team and all the kids were having to respond to dealing with racism.
Right.
Where do they got to deal with that at? Nowhere else but where they're receiving racism.
Right.
The psychological and the trickle-down effects of having to make that video. Now, I got to watch myself have to deal with racism for the next 10 years as this video comes up in every situation I come into.
Yep.
It's a terrible situation to put these young men in. It's a terrible situation to put the coach in. I mean, the response was kind of tone deaf in my opinion. They could have done a lot more, a lot better. But they did something, and I think that's kind of the problem that they had to at all.
I don't think. I mean, they clearly show that they don't care. Like they don't. Go ahead, Sarge.
Well, I'm saying on top of that as well, even talking to your kids before they go out. Even as black and brown parents, talking to your kids before they go out, and teaching them, what's okay and what's not as well. Because if your kid's one of the few black kids at a school, when he goes somewhere, he might feel like he wants to show out or something. He wants to try and fit in, so he'll scream something, and then they'll follow suit, or they'll do something to follow suit. So what you got to do is make sure you're treating your kids how to act around their peers as well.
And we need to stop policing these kids' reactions when something racist happens. Like we
let them go.
Let them be in the moment and react like a human instead of having them act like some kind of robot and say, oh, well, they're just words. They're unpleasantries. You need to get over it. No. If you want to wild out because you were called that, then by all means, wild out and make sure that person that said it never says that again. Because the problem is that these people, they say these things and they feel incubated.
There's no adult repercussions. There's no child repercussions. There's no repercussions on the school. Everything goes excused.
Right. Mm-hmm. So look, it is on, just like Bill said, it is on the administration now that like if any racist words, we're shutting down the game.
Right. I don't care if it's the last person on the bench that heard it.
Right.
We're leaving.
Wait, it's because there's zero tolerance. They have this zero tolerance with fighting. If a fight broke out, those people get kicked out.
Yep, they're done. Suspended for the next 2 games.
Right. Zero tolerance. So let's keep that same energy for racism, because honestly, those racist words hurt a lot more than a punch to the face. And on that note, folks.
Want to get punched in the face?
And on that note, we are going to keep it going. Lady L, can you read the comments, please?
I got a few here. Rebecca says those same ignorant kids making those comments 20 years ago are the newly elected school board leaders, city council people, and such.
Yeah.
Not just that, Felix chimed in and said,
Felix, what's up, brother?
This is an example of how racism is structured and woven into the fabric of society that we have to partake in. Racists feel comfortable doing these things because they can do these things.
Yeah.
We can't expect people who perpetuate these ugly tactics to fix them. Continue doing what you're doing by holding them accountable on the platform you all have created and others alike. There needs to be a separate entity in their face.
Holding them accountable.
Yep.
Love y'all.
Yep.
Love y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then Gary says, I'm a baby boomer. I don't like anybody using the N-word. You do not get an N-word card for me because you're black. I stopped going to local barbershops because young Puerto Rican dudes cutting hair using the N-word like crazy. I don't like it. And then Sharif says, if the black or brown students would respond, they would change the whole narrative and say, look how these savages act. Exactly.
Right. Either way, if they don't respond, it's the docile black person. And if they do respond, then it's the overly aggressive black person.
Look. A punch to the face. A punch to the face. That racist person will think twice.
Listen, I want y'all to know it took me a while and you got to train your child up, right? So I told my child no shoes on the carpet, right? And at first she was like, she was letting people walk with shoes on the carpet, right? And then I was like, hey, this is your home. You got to stand up for yourself. And imagine taking that same with our children. You're on this sports team. If you are going out and you get on that field or you get in that gymnasium and they start with that N-word stuff, this is how you do it. I don't care what your coach say, what the principal say. This is what I'm saying.
Yep.
And you get more mamas and dads like that, you're going to have some trouble. That's where I'm at. I hope that you all join me in making sure that our kids are strong enough to handle those situations. Because one thing I like to tell my daughter is that, hey, I'm not always going to be able to be there, to be in school and to be able to advocate for you and do those things. I'm not always going to be that person. And so you have to be able to speak up and speak out for yourself when you need certain things met, right? And that's all we have to do. A need is your safety. I'm sorry, if I'm somewhere somebody yells at the N-word at me, I'm going to feel threatened. I'm going to feel threatened, especially if it has that Karen twang on it. I'm going to feel threatened, and I'm going to act accordingly.
The days of nonviolent are over. I'm sorry. Like, you call me the N-word, I'm not. Go ahead, there goes this cheek. Go ahead, say it. No? No.
That energy died when MLK was taken from us.
Is that what you think?
Well, and the sad thing about it is that this is not just happening in this area. Lady L, our next story is kind of the same thing. That happened
to our north.
Yeah.
To our north, and we always have this conversation about this idea of the Mason-Dixon line and slavery wasn't happening in the north. And I love that, we kind of knew this. Some of us knew this, but people talking about like slavery didn't end in the north. It wasn't like, oh, you made it to Pennsylvania, slavery's over. No, there were slaves all up and through Pennsylvania. There were slaves in Philly. There were slaves in New York. Wall Street.
There were slaves in Massachusetts.
The goal was to get to Canada.
Right.
Not stop anywhere in America. It was to get to Canada.
Right. So
Nowhere in these Americas.
Right. So here we go. In this story, actually, as we leave Lancaster, we head up to New York, which is like a 3.5 hour drive to our north. So a community in New York is outraged after high school basketball team was subjected to racist taunts from fans while shooting free throws during the game. The incident happened last week when Pearl River High School in Rockland County was hosting Nyack High School during a varsity basketball game. The video posted to Twitter, fans can be heard making monkey noises as black Nyack players shot free throws. And guys, hopefully we'll have the video for you and we can drop it down so you can take a look at it. Nyack superintendent said the district and board education stand firmly with the student athletes in the wake of the racist and reprehensible behavior displayed by members of the Pearl River community. We have asked the Pearl River School District for a full investigation and report and have also asked Section 1 Athletics to review the situation with the safety and mental well-being of our athletes as a top priority. They said we're also making counseling available to any Nyack students in need of support. Nyack student athlete Cameron Kolexky said he heard the monkey noises at least 3 different times during the game. He said he was kind of surprised and wouldn't think anyone would want to do that during the game, especially the young kids. A similar incident took place a previous week when Pearl River hosted Suffern High School. Although the noises made in the incident came from the student section, Superintendent Marco Pomchtessa said these responsible have not yet been identified. So, they actually sent the letter to the community saying that racist behavior will not be tolerated under any circumstances. The students involved will be addressed through the district's code of conduct. The actions of these individuals do not in any way represent the values and expectations of our school district, said the superintendent for the River District. But and that's really it. They have nobody in custody. They have nobody that's going to be held responsible just yet. They are still investigating, trying to figure out what student and or adult in their community may have done this. And that's always a thing. I feel like every time when there's a black person or a brown person that do something, they find and charge and hold somebody accountable in 10 hours or less. But when it comes to addressing, terrorism, racism, or just the oppression of black and brown people, it's always under investigation.
Well, because some of the kids, they're the son of the DA, daughter of the judge. The mayor's nephew. These are folks, kids that are well connected. It's unfortunate that like these kids are going through this right now, and it's like here we are in 2022, and like the level of racism that's just outward. Like it just seems like America's racism is just busting at the seams right now. And it feels like, I mean, honestly, it's gonna sound crazy, America. I prefer my racism like this. I prefer my racism in my face. You know, tell me that you don't like me. Tell me that you think I'm the N-word instead of doing stuff behind my back, you know, and making me seem like I'm schizophrenic. Is this racism? Is this not? But, like, just to feel so emboldened in the era of video. Like, we're at a basketball game. Everybody clearly got their phones out. I feel so emboldened to call this basketball team the N-word. And to feel like, and to know, not even feel, to know that there's not going to be any repercussions. This kind of oversight, this kind of not attacking this at its core, causes situations like what happened in D.C. with those 16 and 17-year-old white boys that were arrested for those bomb threats. It starts somewhere and manifests somewhere, and then it continues to grow. It starts with calling black players the N-word at the basketball game, and then it escalates to bomb threats at HBCUs. Like, come on. We got to chop this at its core. Honestly. Lady out.
Yeah, so right now the school is just under investigation, and actually the superintendent for the NIAC children is actually hoping to see some accountability and that he'll get more details. He's looking for a full investigation. He wants somebody to be held accountable, child, adult, somebody. But I love that they are offering counseling services to their students, because people, I think, just assume because we're black and brown people that because we may use the N-word interchangeably amongst ourselves and within our community, that it then makes people outside of said community able to do it. And it's like, no, you can't. Here's a line, and you stay over there, right? And so I'm just hoping that we can begin to have more discussions about the N-word and expectations and dialogue and just progressing in our society, because everybody's not raising their kids the same. Everybody's not raising their kids the same. Everybody's not having their kids in a house where the N-word is cool and it's sexy, and not everybody's doing that. A lot of people are extremely offended and hurt and belittled, and like it tears at them. And we need to be mindful of that. Sarge?
What if we take away home games? What if we take away home games from these teams?
Yeah.
You know, they make big money off, like whether it's at football, basketball. Yeah, they make money for the school off these events.
Yeah.
So you know what? Boom, no more home games. Sorry.
Yeah.
Until you can get your students right, until you can teach your kids how to act, until you teach them what wrong is.
Right.
Then you guys can maybe have another home game.
We've avoided the conversation around racism for way too long.
Yep. Just stop avoiding
We
it.
don't want to say what is racism, what isn't racism. Well, sometimes this is something. No. We're going to just start drawing lines, say this is racism, this isn't racism, and that's it. If you touch the line, it's racism.
School districts need to get a residential black person to tell them what racism is.
Yo, the fact
Yeah, I'm serious. Get yourself a residential black guy, a residential black woman, to be like,
Put him on a $100,000 pen.
that's racist.
Like, yo, the fact that we normalize this behavior for so long is honestly disgusting. Mm-hmm. Like the fact that, like, right, and the fact that we're like, think about it. This is going back to when we were in high school. It was more than likely way before we were in high school as well. So then we're talking about this is something that's been going on for, let's say, 40 years.
It's a culture.
Where there's this stigma. Okay, we're going out to such and such county. Guys, there's going to be racism. Hey, we're going out to Warwick. Guys, there's going to be racism. Hey, like, yo, we normalize this behavior to where now we put the onus on the teenagers to not react. Instead of looking at the adults and saying, look, don't bring that to this high school game. You know, like we have to.
I think we need those signs. There was like a bullying campaign about anti-bullying. I think maybe the schools need to adopt some kind of anti-racism campaign. So like you go into the school building and it'll be like the word racism with like the X thing on it. Yup. Yeah. And it's like, this is a safe space. You know, racism, right? Says zero tolerance for racism. Zero tolerance. And see where we go from there. I think that's where we need to be at. Or at least as far as parents, we need to start advocating that from the lens of safety, mental health, safety, and emotional development for our children, and do it under that.
Tamora, what's going on, cuz? Good morning to you, listening from Ohio.
Hey.
I hope you're not upset about yesterday's outcome.
They still got the day off today, though.
Yeah, right. She
To
says,
recover from that L.
they wear the racism as a badge of honor, shaking my damn head, because there are no consequences.
Facts.
Absolutely. And then Cherie says, what does the panel think should be done immediately if it's found this happens at sporting events to get their attention and for it to stop? With the game a few weeks ago, we complained on Facebook for a few days, then it went away. I haven't heard anything about it. To what Sarge says, start taking away games. You know, start taking away games, and also drastic measures called for. The coaches just may have to be dramatic here and say, look, if I hear anything, I'm stopping the game, and we're going home.
I actually love Lady L's idea as a general principle for the league, right? All right, here's what we're doing. We're adopting these signs. We're adopting this rhetoric. We're going to say zero tolerance for racism in any form at these games. Mm-hmm. And allow that to be at least a place that we start. We got the signs up, zero tolerance. All right, police, we need you to enforce it. Administration, we need you to enforce it. But let's at least collectively, right? Because that's something that people can agree with. People will agree with, posters and all of that stuff, even if it's it's a platitude. People will agree with it.
I was about to ask that.
People will agree with it, right? But now we start there, and now that those words can at some point begin to be enforced. You understand what I'm saying? But if the verbiage is never there, then the consequences never actually exist to people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but don't they already have anti-discrimination stuff in schools?
But is it specific to sporting events?
Right,
I get what you're saying.
But also, you're talking about those discriminatory codes. I get what you're saying, but those are also like in the student code of conduct handbook, and it's more so a
it's frowned upon, not disciplined.
Right, it looks different for students. Like we're talking about students on students, and we're also talking about students when they are away from the school building itself. How are we still keeping them protected? And if our school has a zero tolerance on racism can happen anywhere at any time. Mm-hmm. And we still embody our school principles. So if we go here, we go there, those principles come with us.
So then y'all think that the signs are going to stop?
The signs are the beginning.
I think it's a step in the right direction.
Right. So imagine
the consequences.
Right. So you go into the gym. I'm racist. I step into this gym and I see these signs. No racism. What? I'm already peaked. Right? Because I see these signs. Mm-hmm. And that's the first step. That is the first step. So now you see these signs, maybe you do, maybe you don't know that we're playing.
So then you really think that
I love the devil's advocate perspective.
the a-hole student, I think that's going to perpetuate it even more. Oh,
well, then
no racism?
Yes.
Hold my beer.
Right.
And like
yes, and
who's gonna tell on my friend? No, we're kicking you all out.
Right. Because this is not even on. Because here's the thing: if I am the teacher from anti-racism school, mm-hmm. and I am at the gym to help with or whatever, I'm at the gym monitoring, and I hear the N-word, and I hear. Guess who's going up in the stands? Guess who's making a scene? Gladly, excitedly.
So then in the NFL, when they have end racism on their helmets, end racism in the end zone, Black Lives Matter, all.
Obey your thirst.
There's still Brian Flores.
They don't have, but they don't.
Keith is creating a great conversation. Go ahead.
But also, well, first of all, the NFL is a private-owned company. It's private-owned. The schools are a public entity that's technically owned by us.
I get that, but the signs are not going.
But the signs are
a
part of the tools that we're going to use. So, like, yes, the signs are there as a physical reminder. You step into this space, there's a boundary, and that's what this is in this space. And if you cross that boundary in this space, we're going to have problems.
Lady, people barely pay attention to stop signs. And that's the most common sign.
You know what? And you're going to start paying attention when you're getting ejected from your kids' games.
Yeah, it needs to happen.
That action, I am with that. Yes, eject them out.
But the signs were there to let you know.
Because right now, people will genuinely continue the behavior.
Right.
Like,
So here's the thing.
But it's an argument on both sides.
So then all restaurants that have Black Lives Matter sign out front
No,
really
but
believe
think
in
about
Black Lives Matter.
Here's the thing, Marquise. The signs have what? They have no smoking signs. What happens if you light up a cigarette and smoke inside a building? What are you doing? What do they do if you light up a cigarette and smoke inside the
They
building?
can fine you, you get kicked out.
Yeah, they find you kick
So what do you do if you're talking racism and being racist in the basketball sporting game at the high school, middle school?
I totally agree.
So you think a sign like that's
No, the sign's not the end all. It's not the end all be all. The sign is not the end all be all. She's saying the sign is, hey, this is the warning.
Agreement that we're going to punitively punish racism. That's a
and
communal
you
agreement.
all think that there's not some kind of
I don't.
something already
there's
put
not.
in 2022?
No, there's
in
not.
there?
There's not.
Oh
I don't
my
think
God.
there is.
Show me a racism sign.
Where is it?
Oh my
The
God.
most sign that they got, especially in SCOL, supporting our kids, is about going to school, being on time, being respectful, and they ask businesses to put those up and around. That's what they're promoting, but there's nothing like that. No.
Yeah, it's just like advertising. Think about it. They obey your thirst. It's advertising. You got to beat it into people's minds. Yo, get into elementary schools while they're young. These rural schools, get it in there while they're young. Don't be racist. Racism is bad. You know why? Because their parents aren't telling them. These signs. Look, I get it, Keith. The signs aren't going to do it. Like, they're not going to do what you think they're going to. What I think you think that Lady L thinks they're going to do. I don't know what you think they're going to do.
I don't see anybody saying you look. Oh, can't say it. The sign outside.
No.
If it's in your heart, it's in your heart.
No, because if you do
It's not
say
the
it,
person that's going to say it. It's about the people around you to punish it.
Yeah, to call it out.
If they're not going to punish it now, we got to punish it because some students created a sign?
No,
Come on.
more people will become
punishment
involved
is
in
just
something.
different.
No,
Why?
because the league agrees to punish the behavior. Every school in the league will have these signs. These are the rules punishable for racism. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I understand what you're saying, but there has to be an obvious thing, an obvious deterrent for people.
More people.
I know you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
More people will speak up. More people will speak up. More people will say something. More people will, yo, get out of here. That's what more people will do. If they see a sign. Yeah, right. Planet Fitness has a lunk alarm.
This has been going on for 37 years. Now because there's a sign outside, everybody's going to get vigilant.
Yeah. You wear a seatbelt?
Feels like he was to walk off. Right?
You know what?
You wear a seatbelt.
when was the
If you don't
last
wear your
time
seatbelt,
somebody
ding,
smoked
ding,
in the
ding,
restaurant?
ding,
When was
ding,
the last
ding,
time
ding.
somebody smoked in a restaurant?
Smoking and racism are like two different things.
They'll both kill you. Tell you that much.
Like, look, I'm gonna make this sign, all right? Yeah. And it's all good. It's all good. There ain't nobody's gonna say anything because I made this sign.
Keith, what does drugs do to your brain?
You're missing the point.
The point I'm trying to make is that
Racism over if you can't see it, America.
The point I'm trying to make is that it would be all the athletic directors would agree that we're going to punish racism, and now if one athletic director hears it, there should be a communal decision where, all right, well, the athletic director from McCaskey heard it at a Cedar Crest game. We're going to now punish Cedar Crest for the next 7 home games. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? Maybe it isn't.
I'm hearing from there. I'm hearing policy now. I'm hearing policy.
That's what I was saying. Something we agree on, but it's posted that they see it and they understand the policy.
Y'all are talking about art projects.
Yo, Keith. All right, listen.
No, he wasn't listening. No, you weren't listening. You left it at, they're posters, and you took it so short. No, you weren't.
I'm listening just fine, and I hear y'all loud and clear. Look, I'm on this board, this downtown merchant board. Now, look, this is how I know about this whole signage thing, because when the whole protesting thing came up, we talked about, hey, let these businesses have this sign to show that they're against racism, to show that they're for the protesters.
2 weeks later, your Rose comes out as having said racist.
And I'm just like, yo,
There was no policy, and I think that's what the point I was getting.
Yes.
That there's an agreed upon behavior and procedure for dealing with racism that's posted throughout the league by the league administration. That's what I was saying.
And a sign, just because you put up a sign that says racism doesn't live here, and like, I get it. It feels good.
See? Let's take it to these comments because Rebecca says, a new sign that says racism will not be tolerated is going to be like no guns on school property. She also continues to say, Q is here. You're an asshat.
Thank you.
I think signs would acknowledge we know you're racist and there's going to be consequences. That's a start. Lancaster County has forever ignored blatant racism as proven by your personal experiences as athletes. Thank you, Norma. And then Sabrina says, Lady L is right, though. If you trespass, there is no signs. If you trespass and there is no sign that says no trespassing, you technically haven't trespassed until someone has told you to get a sign or the sign says so. Signs are to cover your ass item that is needed. If the rules aren't in writing, they can argue that they didn't know.
So then somebody can say, I didn't know that I couldn't be racist. Stop it! Stop it!
Are you serious? Have you not seen these Karens acting a fool on video?
Obviously, people don't know. People don't know. All right, Keith, I see. All right, say school does policy. You cannot be. We do not. They have a no racism.
I feel better. They done gave me the transference of my energy back. Thank you guys. I feel better.
They have a no racism policy, and then they put the signs up.
Whoop-de-doo.
No, because you know what? When they do something racist, then it gives somebody legal right to punch him in the face.
How many times do you see somebody drive down a one-way street? There's a sign that says one way.
Imagine if there weren't signs.
Imagine if there weren't signs?
There'd be mad people driving down one way.
I guess there'll be racism everywhere, right?
Like there is.
Like there. So then there wouldn't be racism if there were more signs.
He just lost it.
Y'all are putting so much.
I didn't. I won that.
So much energy into this performativeness. Look. I would rather there be policy. Not a sign.
But how do they know about the policy if you don't physically make something to let them know that this is a thing? If you randomly make a new policy and don't send them nothing, don't put out nothing in writing.
I know. I just proved your point. I proved your point. We won this argument. We already won. He already admitted it.
Anyway, next story, guys.
The one-way sign?
Any comments?
The one-way sign?
Yeah.
Any comments?
Yeah,
do we have a
video?
Do we have the video of the?
People don't pay attention to signs.
Few people.
Oh my God. So then again, which brings me back to my point.
But think about it.
Racists aren't going to be racist.
Matter. I'm not doing it.
The racists aren't going to be racist because of a sign. Do you guys hear yourself? These words, these feelings aren't going to be spewed. Me as a racist person,
guys,
I'm not
and this
going
is
to
what.
think. Please let me finish, Lady L. I'm not going to think less than the other person. 15 years of conditioning, but because my school made assembly and because they made a sign, 15 years of conditioning is now gone. Because there's a sign, I'm going to think twice about this feeling. I've sat next to white friends that use the word, when that feeling comes, it comes. There's not going to be no sign.
And
going to work.
Honestly, it sounds like you're having a moment, sir.
No, I'm not.
Here's the thing, though.
You're being negative.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. Because I'm not going back and forth because we're clearly not going to agree on this because you are diminishing it and seeing it as it's a sign. The sign is attached to policy in the whole situation of change, a whole infrastructure. The sign is the manifestation of the 95 meetings that the school board done had, of the new campaign that they're going to run out, of the new this and that and whatever else. And the sign is now there to let people know, kind of like how when we had COVID, and then the city showed up with all these random signs asking people to wear a mask. Here's the thing. You have to start somewhere. Right? I know I'm racist. Maybe I know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know that using the N-word can be seen as racist. But guess what? The moment I start testing those boundaries, when those signs go up, when that email gets sent out, when those letters go home, that next week when I show up to school and decide to be an a-hole, I'm going to find out what those signs really mean. When I show up to the basketball game, the soccer game, the wrestling match, and I decide, or my uncle shows up and decides to start doing his thing, he too will find out what that means.
And what I was getting on to, when I'm saying with the signs, you said, how's it supposed to erase 15 years of it being indoctrinated? Well, it's gonna. I think about the kids coming up, the newer, the younger kids that go to the games, the younger kids that are in these schools that see these signs now. You know what I mean? They're gonna know they're gonna no racism, no racism. Like seeing signs, it's gonna get indoctrinated. It's gonna get put into them. They're gonna call it out more. Like and they're gonna tell their parents that they're wrong because kids don't like doing nothing more than what? Telling their parents they're wrong. So I feel like I get we need the policy change and then the signs would be a start. Because we need that. We need the positive. We need something that's like a commercial.
Well, here you got some.
People to get it.
You got some comments that you might be a fan of, Marquise, because somebody says that they sound like Mike Muma says, aren't the signs the same as CRT? Maybe we should just teach our children to love and that hate isn't welcome in our communities.
How is that in agreement with me? What are you talking about?
Maybe you might have a friend here.
No, Mike is not my friend.
He doesn't want the signs either. It sounds like he doesn't want the signs either. Sounds like you could be friends. You both don't want the signs.
He's talking about critical race theory.
He's just saying, hey.
That's what Mike does. Mike's going to ask himself, how many dads are there?
Right. That's what he's doing. He's trying to change. He's trying to change the argument. This has nothing to do with critical race theory. So let's make a hard stop right there. It has nothing to do with that. This is about what I'm talking about. Is this language that we think that is going to change people's hearts?
Well, how do you think that? What is your ideas on the solutions of racism in our sporting events for our children?
Like I said before, I think it's policy. It's more than just performative stuff. Like, look, I can go on any major corporation's website right now, and they have some kind of sign. Some kind of DEI statement. And then let me go to what their executive board looks like.
But that's what
Is that energy matched?
But that's their policy. That's their policy. You're talking about new policy. That's their policy. They don't actually have to enact anything. That's what you're saying, right? Just write a policy. New policy. We're talking about what the policy looks like in action. That's why you now have signs. That's why, just like when you
posters in a high school, do y'all realize how many dicks are going to be on that poster? How many Catherine was here? Is like how many people aren't going to take that poster seriously? Like, come on. Are we really playing with, come on. How many people are going to vandalize that sign? Especially in a school like Garden Spot or Cedar Crest, Calico.
So now you're destroying school property, and that's a whole nother situation added on to it?
Don't kids already do that? You go to any locker room, any gym. That's what they do. They're kids. A sign is not going to change any of that.
I think it does. I think over the long run, I think steady image of things, all right, if you're told stories, okay? You're read stories every night. What do you eventually do?
Believe those stories.
You believe those stories.
Yes.
All right, so you see this, boom, boom, boom. No racism. Racism is wrong. Racism is wrong. As a kid, and no, racism is wrong. Now you know how to identify racism because these little pictures that are up are showing little things of how racism is. You know what I mean? Or what racism is. They're showing little, this is racism. Wait, you're being racist. Whether there's a hotline you can call or you know what I mean? Whatever you can call, Sabrina suggested. It's something that can be done. I think it have a positive impact.
Listen, hold on. I got to take a moment. Nyla, thank you. She said, I'm scared to call in for those tickets now. The married couple is such a passionate discussion.
Sounds such a passionate discussion,
But also, shout out to Sabrina. She says, The sign won't stop racism entirely, but it reminds people that it won't be tolerated. The Army plasters anti-sexual harassment and assault signs everywhere. It doesn't stop assault completely, but it reminds soldiers that it's not allowed and also provides victims with information to report assault. And Felix says, I still think the announcer calling out races mid-game would be interesting. And I think that might be interesting.
Make them feel
too.
uncomfortable.
Right. But hey, yo,
to
is
the
that
10th degree.
And don't not know their name, because our towns are so small, you probably even know the person's first and last name and just be like, Gretchen Holder. I can't believe you librarian from the such and such. Like, just
grab that racist there in the bus down.
Somebody get Sharon's son from up there behind the racist.
It just has to be more dramatic. Like at this point, racism needs to be met with
the guillotine.
Just an unequal amount of energy, because we have made racists feel comfortable in this country, in this city, in these sporting events for too long.
Mm-hmm.
For too
like it's
long.
okay, even in the NFL, the NBA, because it's not just a high school; it continues through to professional sports. Like they don't stop; they get to college and they're racist.
Hey, Adam, thanks for watching. Listen, we've already been talking about what's next. That's what we've been talking about. Everybody getting ejected from the game, and getting kicked out and put on blast.
Well, we need policy before the signs, but after the signs.
We got a caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey! calling up for the tickets.
Well, first, let me tell you.
All right, go ahead.
What you gonna do? You need to stand outside and hold the sign to make it obvious. How about that?
Look, yeah. Somebody to twirl the sign like one of them twirl sign people.
Look,
like
make Lady Ella sign. I will be at the McCaskey games that say racism is not allowed, and I will be.
But will you take it to a Solanco game?
Oh my goodness, heck yeah!
Oh my gosh, y'all are a mess.
Where we get some of my Target Black History Month apparel.
All right, so yes. What was the
2 Michael B. Jordan films.
2 Michael B. Jordan films for 2 more tickets.
Of course, Wakanda Forever, Black Panther.
Yes, ma'am.
Of course, Wakanda Forever.
1 and 2.
And what?
Creed 1 and 2.
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
I forgot about those. Yeah, there it is. All
You
right,
know,
well,
and I was thinking in my mind, I had Wakanda and Black Panther and Fruitville Station.
Well, we have 6 tickets for you now. The 6 tickets, they are good for any of the games at the Red Rose Thunder. So yeah, we will be in contact with you after the show.
Thank you. Don't kill each other.
We won't. Oh man. So yo, this is just a peel back, America. This is just a peel back of like how the conversations at home about racism and all that stuff gets. Like, it gets passionate, you know, because Lady L and I, we have the same destination, but we have 2 completely different routes.
I'm Malcolm,
getting there.
and he's Martin.
I like to say I'm more WEB. More WEB, Du Bois, you know. So folks, we have about 12 minutes left. We're clearly just going to stay here with the school conversation and such, and continue talking about these signs, because I'm not going to let it go. So back to the signs.
You know what's interesting, though, is that we got, if our school board members who watch the show are still watching, I'd love to get you guys' feedback, because we're talking about racism happening at our school sporting events.
Yeah.
And so my thing was that, you know, getting some signs up, I mean, theoretically the policy would already be like, but these signs are here to let you know, if we hear you being racist, we're going to kick you out and you'll, you know, have some kind of reprimand consequence at these games. That's what we were talking about because there was an issue up in New York with some racism. There was some issue in Lancaster County with some racism. There was another issue with a game out in Columbia with some racism, and we just spent the last 45 minutes talking about it. So if any of our school board members are watching now, we would love to hear your ideas and thoughts on addressing racism during sporting events. Sporting events specifically because now we have children and adults sharing space. Right? And so how do we do that? Some people have said, hey, we stop the game and we address it right then and there. Some people have said, well, the team that's being bullied or oppressed, then they just get up and go. Or the side that's doing it, then they forfeit. Their team forfeits the game. Take away home games. So we've come up with lots of ideas and options, but I would love to hear, Adam, you chimed in. Biggest question was next. You sit on your district school board. Jen, you sit on our school board for SDOL. So listen, if you guys want to call in and chime in, we would love to hear from you.
Yep. Also, listen, the same way in schools, remember the DARE campaign when we were younger? Why can't we create something like that when it comes to racism? Like a racism campaign, call it something rare.
Because people still brought drugs to school. Regardless of the DARE sign, people still came high to school. They still brought drugs to school.
I know someone who brought weed on the bus every day and smoked on the way from the bus to the school.
Guys, but
I don't know nothing about
you guys are
that.
picking a minority. Like, you guys, come on. Don't trump me.
I don't know nothing about that. All DARE students wasn't doing drugs.
Okay. How about this? McCaskey, didn't y'all have a chastity class?
Wasn't chastity. It was called Impact.
Yes.
We were individuals motivated.
Was interviewed.
I was in it. We were individuals motivated.
In Impact, and in Impact, it was what?
My brother was interviewed while he had a girl pregnant.
Yo,
it was a terrible situation.
Yo,
here we go.
Yeah.
Picking out the minority.
No, because everybody in Impact, folks, if you don't know what Impact is, Impact was supposed to be like
abstinence.
A purity club.
No, when you say
everybody in Impact was.
That is a lie.
First of all,
I was in Impact.
I'm sorry. Don't you have a child that let's do some math?
You can do the math.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just look. Mike,
I wasn't.
Impact.
Impact didn't work.
Look, I had a couple friends in it. And out of those friends, I was the only one at the time that wasn't sexual active. And I'm like, wait, how y'all in a chastity group, but all y'all knocking down girls like in school?
Because they were knocking
in
down
the
the girls
wing of McCaskey.
in the chastity group.
Like, yo, like how?
In that
He's
hallway.
just jelly he wasn't in Impact.
In that hallway,
I hate that we're having this
I don't know what you guys
conversation
are
and our
talking
young people live are watching from McCaskey.
Being one of the only kids who are part of the
If they're
Impact.
listening live from McCaskey, they're probably in the law swing right now.
Listen.
No disrespect to Kyrie, we love you.
But yeah, so
Impact was a great group, though. They need Impact back, actually.
Look, I'm just saying these platitudes, right? These platitudes, like in all seriousness, like Impact was supposed to be something, but ended up being something else.
Impact was free lunch.
Where were the adults at?
Because I had friends that would join Impact just to meet the girls.
Wait, what friends? What friends?
I am not going to put those people.
I was in Impact. I know a lot of the people you know.
Yes, I know you do.
And some of the people were not getting cheeks. They might have been lying to you. They were lying in high school. I'm just saying. Like, I know. I'm like, who are you talking about?
But hey, Mike says just can't hide that McCaskey pride. And Norma says Impact equals free lunch. Lisa says that Impact Angel is the worst for that TV interview. And then Adam responds to Lady L. He says PIAA has that policy in, just isn't enforced because refs are prepared to toss a whole crowd, but they have the authority to clear a team's cheering section. I never knew that.
They should do that more.
That is, yeah.
And see, you know what? And now knowing that they have that authority and they're not really they're not pushing that, and they have that authority in today's society, lets me know that it's not up to them. We still then need the school boards and the school district to have their own policy, right? PIAA got their own thing. And And we're going to have our thing.
Our own thing, yeah.
Because this is still our school building. These are still our kids.
Students, yeah.
This is still our community. I don't give a dang about what PIAA says. Thank you, but we still going to have our stuff here, right? Like,
protect, yeah.
So, all right, well, good to know. Thank you so much, Adam. Giving me some ammunition for when I decide to run for school board.
Oh, you heard it here first, folks. Breaking news.
Right. They've been in my inbox enough, pressuring me. I'm there now, guys. I'm there.
But I love it. It's going to take it's going to take our elected officials because there has to be a level of protection because this is a attack on our students. This is a attack on our culture, not just as black and brown people, but also as a public school in Lancaster City. Like when they talk about one McCaskey student of color, when they talk about two McCaskey students of color, they're talking about all of us. You know, this isn't again just an isolated incident where it just remains in the schools. Like these people are then taking the same mindset and they're going out into their communities and they're expressing these views. So I mean our elected officials need and should do something. Folks, this was a man, what a way to kick off a Monday.
Bang.
What a way
Last
to
week
kick
before
off.
Vacation.
Getting ready, fired up.
Don't miss the show this week.
And ready to go. Yeah. Dr. Hamlin says, so then the culture school principal should demand response. Yeah, absolutely. Rebecca says, team Lady L for Lancaster.
I like that branding.
Hashtag.
I actually like that branding.
Right
that looks good.
And then Dr. Hamlin says, no one send their child to school to be harassed. If that student then goes to harm themselves, then what? Thoughts and prayers? And that's a thought as well. We can't have this expectation to tell our kids, you know, because these are our kids. We can't have this expectation to tell our kids, power through it. Get through it. They're just words.
I think that's I think it's been the narrative for too long around dealing with racism, right?
Yes.
Turn the other cheek, be the better person. Like, nah, sometimes at this point of our lives, where we are particularly, it's time to respond to that energy with violence.
Right.
Or vitriol in some form or fashion.
And when people say, be the better person, I tell them, I'm not that better.
Listen, I'm just going to go a little bit above where they at.
Right.
What they say about Michelle Obama, when they go high.
When they go low, we go high?
No, when they go high, we go.
No, when
we
they
go
go
to hell.
low, when they go low,
Yeah, we go to hell.
We kick them. When they go low, we kick them. That's what it is.
That's the new energy.
That's the new energy. When they go low, we kick them. I ain't going high. I'm going lower. I'm going to kick you.
Yep.
Make sure you know. Don't go that low again.
Yep. Shoot. Well, you said you ain't going high?
No.
I only go high.
No.
Anywhere.
No. Shoot. They go low, yes. Kick them.
T-shirt.
Right.
Kick 'em.
With the little stick people.
Anywhere, everywhere.
You know, so folks, want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We were definitely on fire on this episode. Dr. Hamlin said, let the violence be, catch it on camera and hold them accountable. Physical violence doesn't get us anywhere.
But it makes you feel good.
I wouldn't expect nothing less from a doctor. I would not expect anything less. Yes.
I tell you what, after I physically harm them, I'm going to send them to you.
Right. I'm thinking like, well, after they go down, can I stab them with COVID or something? Like, so,
I want to hear.
I've been watching too much Criminal Minds. Don't mind me.
Yeah. Yo, she went through the whole catalog. Like, she's like, you know what? I have nothing else to watch now. And I was like, you did it to yourself.
Right.
You should have spread it out.
I did. I was like reading the descriptions that I couldn't really remember. Those were the ones that I started like rewatching.
Now she got to go back to the first episode when Shamar Moore had hair.
Watch the good fight. Watch the good fight. You like the good fight. Watch the good fight.
Folks, we have a great show for you lined up tomorrow. We will be giving away 2 more tickets to the basketball games, to the Red Rose Thunder basketball game. Special shout out to Patients Are Waiting for the last 6 weeks. The last 6 weeks for the Health Equity Festival has been nothing but amazing. Folks, if you haven't seen any of the performances, guess what? They're all documented creatively on TCP Network. Just head to our page, go to the video section, and you will see a nice curated video list of all the performances that happened during the Health Equity Music Festival. For those people that got your tablets, congratulations. For those that didn't, we tried to tell you. We tried to tell you. So I'm going to put a pin in it right there. Lisa says, great show as always. Hope everyone has a wonderful day. Go in peace unless you need to punch someone in the mouth. Mama said, knock you out.
Oh, shoot.
There it is, folks. Lady out.
Hey guys, listen. All right, so I got our black formation for today, and it's make your voice heard, be confident, ask questions, challenge authority, and interact as an equal. Guys, go out there and make today a fun one. I can't wait to see you at the next Red Rose Thunder game taking place February 26th at Lidditz Christian School. Over to the desk.
Got a final comment from Mike. Mike says, spread that love, y'all. Don't feed the hatred. Let it die in its sad hole like it should. One love. Thanks, TCP. Mike, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Sarge.
All right, here we go once again. So I'd like to shout out to all my baby dolls, baby boys, my kings and queens, princesses, princes, he, she, they, we baby. I'd like to leave y'all with some love, and I'd like to thank y'all for riding this train of gravy love today. It is Valentine's Day, and I hope you get the loving that you need. And I hope you brush your teeth and brush your ass prior to. So with that being said, the real man smiles in trouble, gathers strength from distress, and grows brave by reflection. And in the words of Malcolm X, a wise man can play part of a clown, but a clown can't play the part of a wise man. You have a great day.
All right, there it is. I have nothing more. I feel like I spoke more during this show than I've ever spoke. So, folks, thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. I clearly have to get my wife something nice for Valentine's Day.
Sorry.
So if you see me, pray for her, brother. Peace.
If you see him sleeping on our lawn, you'll know
you
why.
didn't get chocolates or anything.
Wake up. It's TCP in the morning.
Good morning, y'all.
Wake up.
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 Wake up, y'all.
Wake up.
Wake up. It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning. Let's go.
It's TCP in the morning.
TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning. It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning. It's TCP in the morning.
It's TCP in the morning. You don't want to miss this.
Wake up. It's TCP in the morning. Woo!
This is Asad. This is your penny.com health minute. In part 2 of our healthcare terminology, we begin with the phrase out-of-pocket maximum, which is the most money in the form of deductibles, co-pays, and co-insurances you can pay each year, regardless of how much medical care you need. Do you need prescription medication? Well, penny.com has provided a convenient way for you to look at the plans you are considering to see how much your prescription could cost. Network is also a key term you will continuously see while navigating penny.com. Your network is compiled of healthcare providers and facilities your insurer has contracted with. Do you want to include your doctor in your plan? No worries. You can use Penny's provider directory to see if your provider is included in your plan.